Alright folks, my name is Freyn and welcome to the Panther 2. This is a German 7.0 medium tank. A long time ago it used to be 6.7 and it eventually got moved up, but since then I think most people have sort of put it aside and don't really give it a chance anymore. They consider it ruined or otherwise. But today we're going to go over a few games I've had in it and yeah, maybe talk about the tank a little, who knows. So, starting off, I'm on Advanced to the Rhine, heading out towards my usual spot. You can see the Panther 2's mobility isn't exactly bad. Reasonable acceleration, reasonable top speed, and it can even reverse quite well as well, which is nice. Now, I've not played this tank in a while, simply because it was spaded out and done with, but it feels like they've nerfed the turret traverse a little since. I haven't looked through all the patch notes to check, as it has been quite a while, but it's something, it might get me killed every now and then, but for the most part I can work around it. So, moving to my normal spot here, and looking towards the A point, there's a T114, so we'll just take him out. It's the Long 88, this gun, the same as on the King Tigers or the Ferdinand or Panther. It's a very effective gun, great penetration, good rate of fire. There's honestly no complaints I could ever have about the firepower on this vehicle. Now we have the A point, but there's quite often going to be several vehicles driving down this little road here, so I'm just going to hold on for the moment, wait, see if anything turns up. I can hear some gunshots, so I know there's something down there, and that sounded like 120mm. This is a 7.7 game, so it's more than possible that there could be a Conqueror or Conway in here. And although the APDS on them isn't particularly great, nor is there a reload, I would rather avoid driving into them if I can. I mean, always good advice for every tank, avoid driving into enemy guns. Just see a barrel around the corner, that's not what I was waiting for, but I'll take the kill. That's M56 down. Brief bit of demolition there and we'll move up. It's best not to stay in the same spot for too long if you can avoid it. See something driving onto the cap, so just turn around and knock that out. That's Conqueror down. Had I stayed put, I would have been able to get a shot on him as well, and he wasn't looking my way. But I prefer to be in this position. I can see a tortoise around the corner who's not looking at me, so I'll peek out, and he's seen me, but turning towards me gives that large flat bit around his mantlet there. The ammo rack is just underneath it, the gun is off to the side. It's a pretty reliable one-shot kill I find on the tortoise. Now the enemies have knocked through on the west quite well, and as a result are now starting to take the A point. I would like to work out what is there before I try and block it. There's an M60 who's just gone down on that corner. But there's something else, and after a quick check to see if it's okay, let's move on to the cap. He should be on the west side. Obviously we've got players who are on the north and the east side of it, so there's only so many places he can be. I don't know what he is yet. M46 just taken out the Panther 2. So now I at least know what he is, I know where he is, and hopefully he's still looking south and I can get around to him. Unfortunately in this case that's not what happened. He is looking towards the north, and he will be able to shoot me if I drive around. And thanks to this rather large lighting rig on top of the turret, I'm pretty sure he can see me, knows where I am. There's also a headlight and an infrared scope on the upper plate, which occasionally disrupt the gun depression. So it's certainly not a vehicle without its flaws, despite having a very good gun and good mobility. Now this Centurion turns up here, and it's a bit of a risky shot. I need him to die before he kills my teammate, but in doing so the M46 now has an opportunity to attack me, so we'll reverse, tuck in. It means he's got to come just that little bit further around if he wants to get a shot on me. And it gives me a chance to reload first. So he's backed off. And I'm not really in the most comfortable position at this stage. We've lost the C point, so I'm aware that I might have a chance to get shot in the back. I'm trying to keep that tank wreck behind me, make it a little harder for him. There's also this T-95 turning up, and it's starting to get a little sketchy. I would like to go around the other side of the point and try get a shot into their side. I've got this T-54 to the north who could potentially shoot them if they try and turn for me, but before I can do that, the M46 has decided he wants to climb over the top. Now, I should be able to shoot him at the same time as he can shoot me here, but I don't get a chance to because the T-95's pushed around first, so barrel shot for him, and that gives the M46 the chance he needs. Now, there's not many options here, so what I'm going to do is drive forwards, try and get round this corner. I know the T-95 can't shoot me, and I've got teammates around, so I was hoping to get round here and just run to them, and that'll make it harder for the M46 to get a safe shot. He did manage to get another one off though, and he's detracting before I went round the corner. Thankfully he's firing Heat FS, so he's only doing minor damage each shot. And my teammates are now able to provide me with a bit of cover. Now, there's only one more kill takes place in this game. It's an anti-aircraft. We do actually end up winning, so I'll just skip on to the next clip. No need to show me driving around capping and waiting for the tickets to bleed out. So for this one, it's Fields of Normandy. It's another 7-7 battle. I think every game I played in this Panther 2 session was 7-7. So we've come out here to my standard spot. It's an area of the map I know very well. I'm comfortable playing it, and we'll start with some artillery to try and clear a bit of that forest, maybe get some early spotting. Bit of advanced warning. But before I can do anything with that, there is an M56 right in front of me. Now, I can't really push him. Well, going over the top here will make me a bit visible, so instead he's coming around to me, and we can take him out. I'd rather have aimed properly instead of third person, but I didn't want to give him the chance, and that is a very light armoured vehicle, so the chances are I was going to cause some good damage to it. I can see an STRV there, clipped just at the top of his upper plate and didn't manage to cause any damage. There's also a T-34 over there. So, shot for the lower side, underneath his turret. He was quite heavily angled, but the long 88 really, it doesn't care too much about that. So that's 2 kills down, and I know there's some more over here. First we have a Vickers. Again, 1 shot. And using the good reverse to get back onto the battlefield, you can't unfortunately push around here without driving into this return to battlefield area. Again, shot to the lower plate of the STRV. There's a few reasonably safe shots to make on the STRV, or the Centurions. One of them is to go for the sort of throat, the turret ring. One of them is the roof, and the other is the lower plate. The lower plate's a bit bigger, so I chose that one. There's also a T-29 or 34 driving down here, and a Carnarvon over there that I really had no idea he was there beyond the machine gun fire, so that was a complete guess. I managed to come away with the kill. There's the heavy tank I was looking for before. Now again, all these optics, headlights, etc. on the top are going to give me away, so he's going to know where I am pretty much at all times. I would like to push around this side. Again, I can't really go over the top. Going round will take me into off the battlefield timer, so I have to be able to go the full distance. I can't stop and wait. It's an all or nothing maneuver. So, I decided in the end I was going to go over the top for this. Sort of at least get into the road area so I can properly see him. But there's another one behind him, so I can't really do that. And then he appears. I go for the lower plate, but Gaijin says no. It's normally a very reliable shot, even with the Tiger 1's gun, that should normally kill. But we'll move on to clip 3 now. That's one very quick game over with, and this time it's Middle East. So again, coming out to one of my more favoured locations. See an object 906 climbing the mountain. He stopped as I fired, so my lead ended up just clipping his track, and little low on this shot, but it did the job anyway. Spalling from an explosion on the ground there, apparently. No time to stop and think though. A T-54 has seen me, clipped my track. I've tried to swivel and tuck myself in as best I can behind the rock, and he's moving up to this building. So I'm anticipating him reappearing soon. My tracks are repaired though, so I can get properly into cover. So I've mentioned it in past videos on Middle East, but I don't think this map is particularly well designed. If you're on the west side of the map, there's only 2 locations that I personally am comfortable taking. One is this, and the other is going down towards the A point. I do think the A point one contributes a little more to the game, but we already have a lot of people going there, and this one at least allows me to put some pressure on the B point, which is obviously going to be needed if we want to try and win. We can't just give up 3/4 of the map. It's shielded from the enemy spawn hill, which is one thing, although that hill is also the reason why I'm not able to push this T-54 right now. Fortunately, taking out that 906 has given me some freedom from the other direction though. If they manage to get both of those hills, I'm pretty screwed here really. That's an artillery hit, just taking out my track and engine there. T-54 knows it, he's the one who dropped it, so he's starting to push forwards. I've also got the T-92 who I've previously shot, and a T-29 headed this way as well. So I've really got to weather out the storm here. We'll start with a shot into the side of the T-54 who pushed forwards a little too far. My track's repaired, so we'll go for the T-34 or T-29. It is a T-29. This time not bouncing off the lower plate. That's more like it. The kill shot with the second one. It's not 100% reliable to kill, but it certainly does damage. And then we'll knock out the T-92 as well. There's an awful lot of tanks pushing up the north here. Largely because they know they've got control of the north thanks to that spawn hill. So SDRV down now as well. Swarmore made it onto B. I obviously can't completely deny the area, but I can make it difficult for them at the very least. That's an AMX-30 pushing up there. I would like to peek out and shoot him while he's looking away, but they've got a player on B. They've got some players on the sniper hill. That's the one from B down, the T-29. And there's also, I think it's an M60 over there. So, it's not really safe for me to peek him right now. It does unfortunately mean he's managed to move up. This is where the turret traverse would have come in handy. I might have been able to shoot that M60 before he crossed onto the other side of the road. But we have more customers turning up now. There's something there. I can't tell what it is thanks to the large array of bushes on it. There's also the AMX-30 and at least 2 more tanks I can see, one of which is just about to drive into view. I probably should have waited for him to show part of his hull so I could get the one shot there instead of requiring a second. Fortunately, he continued to drive into view. Take him out. Now for the AMX-30, or whatever this is. I can't tell, so I'll go for the barrel. Died to someone else as I shot. It was an SU-122-54. The AMX-30 slipped across to the other side of the road during that reloading period, so no chance to get a shot on him again. Constantly just the wrong timing with him, but I can take out this T-92. So that's kill number 8, I believe. That AMX-30 is still getting closer and closer to our spawn, so he's currently marked up on the map. I know where he is, I just don't have that shot. We were managing to get the A and B points, so we still had a potential to be in this game. And I do definitely need to move, and move soon. This is really the major downside to this particular spot. You are quite susceptible to getting pinned in. Now, they had a lot of players come into the north, and as I said, I managed to take out a fair chunk of them. But without caps, it's slightly meaningless. It obviously helps, but unfortunately my team were also dying just as fast, and that's going to put it down to needing caps. If you can't really gain that numbers advantage, then yeah, you're going to struggle. So I need to be leaving this location pretty soon. There's some shots coming in from the north first, however. There we go. So one shot. Again, the long 88 is an absolutely fantastic gun. Never let anyone say otherwise. So we'll make one check on the spawn hill. It looks clear. It's time to go for C. I've held out as long as I can. You know, I've picked up some kills, but it's got to be done. If I'd gone for the A point instead at the start, I could have tried to shift backwards and forwards between A and B, get the control of the caps that way. I'm not really sure if it would have made a difference in the grand scheme of things to go for the other location, the other cap on the map. They did send the bulk of their players up this way, so we might have simply ended up flanked and all shot in the back instead. Who knows? There's no real right or wrong, I think, play for this. It's just a really badly designed map, and particularly from the west, I feel you are at a disadvantage as soon as the game begins. So yeah, it's just making the best of a bad situation. Now we'll drop some artillery behind that building, as I've seen some machine gun fire coming across. I've no idea if that's where it is, but it seems like a logical spot for someone to hide in. I could stay on the cap, but my vision is rather impaired by the roof, even if it gives me some bomb cover, which I'm quite partial to. Instead we'll roll up a little bit, see if I can see anything, and then we'll try and make a break for some cover nearby. It's not going to block the cap, so it means they can decap it at least, but it's a little less obvious of a location for me to be sitting in. It all seems to be clear up here so far, so I'm just going to loop my way around the top of the building. Should probably have started turning my turret a little earlier there. I'll loop around and I'll try and position myself for an ambush on anything approaching the cap. The numbers aren't looking too bad now, and we've got majority map control, so we're in with a chance of pulling this back. I can hope, at least. Now, I've rarely come up to this part of the map. I occasionally go for C, but I very rarely come into these sort of buildings up here. And I've ended up running into a T-34-100 just around the corner. So we're in a bit of a stalemate. Again, I don't think there's really a right or wrong play here. I could try and rush him, see if I can catch him off guard, maybe make him bounce a shell. It's risky, he might get me. I could try and get his barrel when he does that, but again, risky, especially when he's moving. It might deflect the shot, and then I'm really in for it. Although if that happened and he drove round, I might be able to ram him and throw his shot off. Might just give me a chance. I was hoping the Duster might be able to drive around behind him and distract or damage him, but unfortunately they've started capping the C point. So he's got his own problems to worry about right now. We can obviously both see each other. Either way we maneuver, it's yeah. If one of us tries to go away, the other one's going to get the shot. Meanwhile, the rest of the map is starting to look a bit worse. We've just lost a couple of heavies. We're losing a cap, and the tide is starting to turn back in the enemy's favour, so I can't really afford to be sitting here taking out the game like this. You know, it's a stalemate where two players are removed from the game effectively, but they've got the advantage, so yeah, it's working better for them than it is for us. Now he's popped smoke and driven back, so I was thinking now's my chance. I can catch him off guard, maybe rush around behind him, but there's the problem. When I said I don't come up here very often, I didn't realise I'm actually in a direct view of their spawn point. And an AMX-50 just respawned, took out my breach and turret. So, doing the only thing I can think of, which is to pop smoke, back up, and hope I can repair. It's incredibly unlikely to work, and my repair time is simply too long. There's, you know, the chance they're not going to find me is remote. But you can't win every game, and that's pretty much the end of this video. I've got a few more Panther 2 clips, maybe make a second video out of them, I'm not sure, but we'll leave it there for today. So, as usual, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed, and I will see you next time.